I've mentioned on the YouTube channel in the past, guys, that I'm not very good at flight simulated games. However, one of those that is going to be coming out here later this year is Star Wars Squadrons. And what I'll say, guys, is that this has really intrigued me to get back into the flight simulated types of games, even though I'm not very good at them. It kind of gets me to want to actually get good at playing a game, that is based as a, flight simulated game. And so with that, guys, I wanted to talk more about Star Wars Squadrons. We've gotten some questions here on the YouTube channel about it. And so what I thought I would do in this first segment of the show is talk about everything that we know so far about Star Wars Squadrons. So let's get into it. In an article, guys, that was written by Andrew Reiner of Game Informer during today's EA Play live stream, publisher Electronic Arts and developer Motive Studios pulled back the curtain on Star Wars Squadrons, an exciting new experience set in a galaxy far, far away. So what is it, guys? So Star Wars Squadron is a space combat game that delivers a single-player campaign and various multiplayer modes. Outside of seeing your character in cutscenes and in lobbies, you will never leave the cockpit once combat commences. It's all about dogfighting and living the Star Wars spaceship fantasy, which is awesome. And what I will say about that, guys, is notice how it says single-player campaign as well as various multiplayer modes. So basically, guys, this is going to be a full package, which is something that we did not get with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I thought was really unfortunate because, man, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, in my opinion, was great, and I would have loved to play it in multiplayer format because all we really have up to this point is Star Wars Battlefront, and I'd like to see, Respawn kind of take the helm with making a multiplayer sequence outside of, like, Apex Legends and such, so I think that would have been really cool. But nonetheless, we're getting multiplayer modes here. We're also getting a single player experience, which I think is great for those of you who don't like multiplayer. It's a full package. So you'll be able to, whether you're buying it, whether to play single player, multiplayer, or both, it's going to be something there for all of us. When is it coming out, guys? It comes out October 2nd on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Now, what Star Wars era is it set in? The second Death Star has been destroyed, the Battle of Endor is over, and the galaxy is now looking for order. The game is set between the original and sequel trilogy, yet retains the classic aesthetic for ship and troop designs. What are the multiplayer modes? So if players just want to battle it out for kills, Dogfight mode is the avenue of play the one embrace. The dogfight mode is a 5v5 battle with respawns, weapon loadouts, and is determined by kill count. Star Wars Squadron's signature mode is called Fleet Battles. Designed as multi-stage conflicts, Fleet Battles begins in a social hub that is used to devise strategies. Once you figure out what your team wants to do and launch from the hangar, you are tasked to push a front line toward the enemy side. Depending on which way the line is moving, you must attack or defend two medium-sized capital ships. If you succeed on the offensive side, the final goal is to take out a flagship like a Star Destroyer, beginning with its subsystem, shield generators, power system, and targeting system. And then when the flagship falls, a victor is crowned. So what I'll say, guys, is, okay, so we've got dogfight as well as, these fleet battles, which is the signature mode, which, look, at the end of the day, even if it's just those two modes, that seems pretty exciting. Now, I'm sure there's maybe more modes outside of just those two, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be pretty cool. The fleet battles, if you don't want to do that, you can do the dogfight mode, which sounds like it might be a little more fast-paced and such. So I think that either way, whether you want to play long, drawn-out battles or you want to do something a little bit more fast-paced, you'll be able to do either one of those with this game. Now, can you play fleet battles single player? Yes, if you want to go at it alone or with just a friend or two at your side, you can battle against AI opponents. And so that's really great as well, guys, especially for someone like myself who isn't very good at playing flight simulated games. I haven't been good. Even when we're talking about Grand Theft Auto, we talk about Far Cry or Battlefield, these games that have sequences in them that where you're flying around, I'm just not very good at it. I'm not very good at that. I'm a lot better at playing something that's more grounded, that you're actually, running around, whether it's first-person, third-person shooters, whatever it might be. Just not very good at this, but this kind of intrigues me to want to try because you can go up against the AI, which I really like, so you can practice a good amount. I really like that idea. Now, where are the maps set? EA Motive has announced 6 maps. The war will move from the gas giant of Yavin Prime to the shattered moon of Galatyn and over to the icy ring of Esles. You'll also travel to Nadiri dockyards, a debris field near Sasubo and to the Xavian Abyss. All of the maps are set in space, yet there's a chance they grace a planet's atmosphere. And then what is the single-player story about? Little is known about the overall conflict, but the trailer above details one of the Empire's missions. The New Republic is working on a top-secret Starhawk project, and the Empire spies have gotten word of it. Now, what I will say about this, guys, when the single-player story, what's interesting is that, you know, it seems like this game is primarily you're set, you know, it's going to be you're flying around, essentially. But there's sequences in the trailer that shows, you know, the pilots outside of, you know, the cockpit. And so what's interesting and what would be interesting to me is if there's sequences where it's not all done in the cockpit. I would assume most of it will be. But it'd be kind of interesting to even get some action where you're not even in the cockpit at all. Like whether, you know, one of the hangars is getting attacked or something along those lines where, you know, by troopers. That would be interesting. And so we don't know, obviously, guys. We're going to have to wait until the final product comes out, or maybe, you know, as we get closer, they'll probably reveal certain things. I would assume, though, most of the game is going to be done behind the cockpit. Who do I play as? So you'll suit up as pilots in both the New Republic and Galactic Empire. These perspectives are used for multiplayer in the single-player campaign. You'll switch between the Republic and Empire from mission to mission in the campaign. For the New Republic, you will be following the pilots of Vanguard Squadron. And for the Empire, your viewpoint is through Titan Squadron. Your co-pilots are characters created by Motive and Lucasfilm, but your viewpoint for both sides will be through characters you get to create, which is awesome. And then, of course, can you switch ships? While it's in your best interest to figure out which ship syncs best with your team's needs in the pre-match lobby, you can always retreat to the hangar mid-battle to change your vessel. And so what is the viewpoint? Unlike most space and aerial combat games, Star Wars Squadron is only playable from the first-person perspective. Which is fine. I mean, I think that was kind of obvious, but at the end of the day, it would have been kind of nice to have the third-person perspective as well, but we'll have to kind of wait and see when the final product comes out, guys. Maybe they'll add certain things along the way. You know, I'm sure we're going to be getting DLC. I'm sure we're going to be getting things added as we go. One of those things might be third-person perspective. Now, which Republic ships can I pilot? The iconic X-Wing is front and center and is part of Star Wars Squadron's fighter class of ship, which just happens to be the most versatile class. The A-Wing falls into the Interceptor class, which are lightning quick and can maneuver through tight spaces. The U-Wing, which debuted in Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is a support class delivering plenty of toughness and, according to the trailer, can keep allies safe and stocked up. And then the Y-Wing is, of course, the heavily armored bomber. And then, of course, guys, which Imperial ships can I pilot? The traditional TIE Fighter falls into the fighter class and is balanced similar to the Republic's X-Wing. And then the TIE Interceptor is the Empire's Interceptor class option. The TIE Reaper, which is traditionally used to transport troops, is the Empire's support class choice. And the TIE Bomber is slow but delivers plenty of firepower and fits into the Bomber class, which is pretty awesome. And look, I like the names, guys. I like the different, you know, TIE Fighter, TIE Reaper, Bomber, Interceptor. That's pretty sick. And then, of course, the X-Wing, A-Wing, Y-Wing. And then, can you customize your ship? This is a pretty big one. As you progress through the story of multiplayer ranks, you'll earn all two currency types that can be used to purchase all sorts of cosmetic items for your ship, including exterior paint colors and interior cosmetics, like an Ewok bobblehead that sits next to your displays. Although you can only play the game from the first-person perspective, you can watch the action from the third-person viewpoint when you aren't on the sticks. You can also unlock over 50 loadout components to change how your ship functions in battle. The components alter how your ship flies, fights, and survives. So when it comes to customization, guys, I assume that there's going to be a lot of different customization options here. Now, overall, it would be nice to have that third-person view, so if you could, like, have different kinds of paints and such on your fighter, it'd be really cool to be able to see, that, right? And I think I would actually maybe even do better from a third-person view or perspective. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, maybe it would be better to do it from the first person. I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see. It would be kind of nice to have that option, though. That's one of my complaints about Star Wars Squadrons up to this point. Now, can you pick your own droid? Sadly, no Star Wars Squadron ship upgrades don't include different droids to pick from. So that's kind of unfortunate as well. What instruments work on the cockpit? All of your heads-up display needs are built into the cockpit. In the center, you'll find a circular screen that serves as the combat display. To its right on a triangular screen is the ship status indicator that tells you how your ships and or shields and hull are holding up. To the left of the combat display are 2 meters that monitor speed, throttle, and power management. And then above these meters is a triangular radar that shows you where all of the objectives and ships are. So, look, as far as, the instruments work, I mean, guys, I think it's going to be, a work in progress that you're just going to have to, probably one of those games that the more time you put into it, the better you'll get it. You'll understand how things work. And I'm sure they're going to have tutorials and things of that nature. Can I use a HOTAS rig? The PC version fully supports joystick use as well as hands-on throttle and stick rigs. Is there crossplay? Yes, you can play with any other players on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, and that's awesome. It's going to be there, guys. We're going to have crossplay. That's going to be really cool. And then can I play in VR? Yes, the PlayStation 4 and PC versions both offer VR support. If you are playing in VR, you can still battle against other players who are not, even through crossplay, which is awesome. Now, one of the last things, guys, that's pretty big here, are there microtransactions? Although you are earning 2 currency types that can be used to purchase goods as you play, you cannot spend real money on any items or to buy more currency. The game also doesn't have a battle pass system, and as of now, Motive Studios isn't looking at Squadrons as a living game. All the playing content is in the game on day 1. So I like the concept, and I love the way it sounds. We're going to kind of have to wait, though, until the final product comes out, and probably even weeks after that, to see if some microtransactions start slipping their way into the game. Which, look, guys, if they add it, they add it. And I think it's kind of one of those things that, most games, AAA titles, are going to have microtransactions. As long as it's not, deceptive to the consumer and it's not a pay-to-win type of, tactic, overall, guys, I understand why they have to do microtransactions. I hope they're not in the game. Hopefully just enough people buy the game and such to justify, them just not even keeping microtransactions in the game or having them in there in the first place. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see, guys. I'm excited about this game, though, nonetheless. Star Wars Squadrons, guys, coming out this year. I'll be sure to give you guys more information as it comes out. Let me know in the comment section below. What are you guys most excited about with Star Wars Squadrons? Let me know. And for more Star Wars Squadrons content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.